analysis of YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. A new one for me, entries of Black Christians. Please help me welcome Dr. Erika Gault.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I feel like I should have come out to hip-hop music. It's more appropriate. Thank you to Mrs. Daisy Jenkins for that introduction. Given so many of her wonderful accomplishments, it's an honor just to be introduced by her. Thank you to Dr. Duran, to the wonderful folks in the College of Humanities, their staff, for their spot-on assistance in arranging this presentation that you will see tonight. Thank you to the chair of my program, Dr. Zienga, my colleagues from Africana Studies, for your support tonight. And also a special thank you to my husband, who has probably been the most gracious and patient in hearing so much about Christian Black millennials than anyone in this room tonight. So I'm always thankful to him. In way of introduction, I should tell you that I am a PK, a pastor's kid. I am a third generation preacher. My father was a preacher, my grandmother was a preacher, all of my aunts and uncles. You could throw a rock at the family picnic and you would probably hit about 3 or 4 preachers. That said, be ready to talk to me tonight. Come on, somebody.
Yes.
But also more seriously, I should tell you that I just celebrated my 37th birthday.
Woohoo.
October baby, 80s baby. And I lie at the far end of that group called the Millennials, the very far end. I'm a stone's throw from 38, between 23 and 38 of millennials. And so I have to also tell you, as my poem tonight later on says, I'm also from that generation that is the product of gangster rap and Clinton's crime bill, Tupac and Biggie, Lauryn Hill and Hill songs. We saw nothing wrong with I Believe I Can Fly and church choirs and a little bump and grind in the parking lot. Because child, life was already selling us so many sweet lies. You have to understand something about this context in order to embark upon this discussion of the digital religious lives of Christian Black millennials, because it is the world that was swirling around my inquiry of this group and why it required autoethnography, the insertion of myself into the research. For my reflection on what it means to be such is colored by recent events in my own life. It is for me serendipitous that we should meet here tonight on October the 9th for a couple of reasons. This is exactly 2 months to the date that quite unexpectedly I suffered a heart attack. The reasons for which doctors still do not know. And so in the midst of dealing with recovery and physical rehabilitation over the last few weeks and dealing with my near proximity to death and learning what it is to have bodily trauma as a young Black Christian has occupied much of my thoughts. And so this is personal for me, but today is also significant as it is 1 week since Amber Guyer's sentencing for the murder of Botham Jean, a Christian Black millennial. And so here on tonight, Yom Kippur, this Day of Atonement, where it feels like there was so little atonement in that courtroom,
Amen.
I am thinking about Black trauma. Both that experienced by Black bodies like that of Botham, but also how we are to rightly read the performative value of young Black Christian bodies in America. Tamara Lomax rightly called the courtroom last week a whole scene as Amber Guyver's tears called forth forgiveness from Botham's brother. And initially what filled social media were the tears of Guyver, and I thought, uh-oh, because we in the Black community know those tears.
Yeah.
Those tears preceded the hanging and lynching of scores of Black men in the red records compiled by Ida B. Wells. Those tears are a signifier and a well-worn trope in American history, in which white female tears encapsulate the fears of all whites regarding a looming Black threat and necessitate too often some form of Black capitulation. And Christianity serves a role here, for it has often been used in service of such a goal. In The Cross and the Lynching Tree, James Cone writes, between 1880 and 1940, white Christians lynched nearly 5,000 Black men and women in a manner with obvious echoes of the Roman crucifixion of Jesus. Yet those quote-unquote Christians did not see the irony or contradiction in their actions. I would add, instead, within the context of Christianity, they demanded forgiveness from their victims. In short, we have been trained to respond to and side with those white tears and over against often Black trauma. Because as Toni Morrison writes in Playing in the Dark, Black or colored people in symbolic figurations of Blackness are markers for the benevolent and the wicked, the spiritual and voluptuous. They are sinful but delicious sensuality coupled with demands for purity and restraint. And so while all of social media focused in on those tears, by October 2nd, the Black judge was hugging Amber, the Black bailiff lovingly stroking her hair, the brother offering forgiveness. All the while, there was Botham's real trauma, his dead and decaying body left unattended to.
Yeah.
He too was the son of the Black church. And like so many of its young sons and daughters, we witness how little regard there is for such young Black bodies in America. Because when it comes right down to it, truth of the matter is we know very little about Black Christian millennials. But if we are to rightly name them and do justice to their story, it requires a deep meditation on their trauma, on Black death, on what it means to be young and Black, and often a body that is rendered nobody in your own story. And conversely, their own digital religious attempts at making themselves visible. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. So those were my opening statements. Let's get to some facts here. How many people would classify themselves as a millennial in the room? However you identify. It's okay if you think you're a millennial. Okay. How many Generation Y folks? Boomers?
Boomers.
You skipped
In the
X.
house.
You skipped X.
Silent. Oh, who did I leave out?
X.
X, I'm sorry. X in the house? Okay. Anybody unaccounted for? I want to talk about why those categories might be difficult to define and what it suggests for when we talk about and how we talk about if they ask you who we are, tell them. We are the product of Clinton's crime bill and gangster rap, Tupac and Biggie, Lauryn Hill and Hill songs. We saw nothing wrong with I believe I can fly in church choirs and a little bump and grind in the parking lot. This childhood life was already selling us so many sweet lies, like bubblegum cigarettes, like I met my boyfriend at the candy store, but I blamed the ice cream and cake for the belly aches, like mama, will I die? Count to 5 and stay alive. Lie, that black child still might die. In the land of hands up means don't shoot, that's more lies. Cause Amadou Diallo was shot at 41 times. So we got smart and digitized our crimes. Martin, Brown, Boyd, Bland, Botham, Rice, remember the names. Because they told us that pain was our pain. That the terror on 9/11 was collective, but the terror in our communities was subjective. Please forgive me, but I remember the names. I am so full of memories. My memory is full, but my receipts are in order because my receipts are online. They have digitized my time, my mind, these poems of mine, this skin of mine. So call me crazy, but I'm just prone to stargazing at black computer screens because I see reflections of me, if you know what I mean. No? Well, let me explain this physiology. Black is technology. We move and we change and we drive and maintain in a steady following. Posting notes on my movement, tracking movements to my movement. Digital black is the new beautiful. You ain't know? Oh, you thought because they turned our hashtags against us, redlined the algorithms and magnified our memes, we forget the thing we always knew, that the blacker the berry,
the sweeter the juice.
But oh, duplicity, because the sweeter juice always seems to produce strange fruit. Do you know who I am? I come in the name of the one who created the world in 7 days. Give me 120 characters, I will set this world ablaze. Our fingers are rockets writing machete-handed hashtags for days, but Mom, Dad, don't worry, I'm still keeping the faith, still believing in the Ancient of Days, and ways made out of no ways, and I ain't no ways tired or grown cold in my faith, too busy building Holy Ghost fires for warmth and hurling praises to the sun. But when I pray, I stay on one knee, knowing full well the backhanded deeds that Christian nations have done. From the same mouths that promised us peace and plows, we reap swords and violence. This nation, Satan, the evil one, tried to kill the things I birthed. But baby, these babies will be all right, because I will do justice in my lullabies tonight, singing, come tomorrow, come tomorrow, come tomorrow. We will take the day. Thank you for your time.